Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our presentation. My name is Dmitry Davidov, and today I'm going to be talking about how you can switch to remote work quickly and efficiently. Unfortunately, this is today the world we're living in right now. We're no longer debating whether working remotely is efficient, whether it's desirable or not, how you control people when they're all remote. The world we're in today is hit by the COVID-19 epidemic pretty hard, very severe in some countries. And the things that you see on your screen right now, this is what's happening around the globe, virtually on every continent. You know, the doctors are now seeing their patients using Skype and similar video conferencing technologies. We know that China, the country where the virus first appeared, tens of millions of people are working remotely using internet, and this is actually good news because we know that it is possible. Google, Microsoft, Twitter, and many other tech companies are now fully remote as well. I do have school children, two of them. I'm actually recording this webinar from the safety of my home. So sorry, folks, if the audio is off or if you hear any other noises. But my two children, they're also doing distance learning. They're using video conferencing to talk to teachers and their schoolmates. Bitrix24, like other IT companies, have extended free offers to help out in any way we can. Our free plan now comes with unlimited users. And as you've already heard, video conferencing platforms, Zoom, Skype, Google Hangouts, they are all exploding. And we're going to be talking about the place of video conferencing solutions, how they can help in this particular instance, because the real questions that business leaders, civic leaders, government leaders are facing right now is either we find a way to work and collaborate remotely, or we have to completely shut down. And by the way, I do understand that not everything can be done remote. You know, if you're in construction, if you are running, hotel, certain industries are going to be hit hardest during this crisis. And unfortunately, that's not the only bad news, because pretty much every medical professional is confident that the virus is going to pass, this pandemic, it's going to end at some point. But the bad news is that the consensus between central bankers and the world's economists is that we're probably going to be hit by pretty hard recession, and some people are using the word depression. So as I'm talking about technologies and techniques and tools, I want you to concentrate on idea about being more effective and more efficient even after this epidemic is over, because I think there are several ways how we can go through this very difficult time, and there are multiple ways that IT sector and IT solutions can help you. I'm not sure how many of you who are watching this webinar are new to Bitrix24, if you've ever used our platform, because I'm sure that this webinar is going to be shared via social networks and other channels. But here is a little bit of credibility builder. Bitrix24 was launched in 2012. And by design, we wanted to be remote as much as possible. Right now, we have clients in over 128 countries and territories. But from the day one, we realized that we're going to design our business processes a little bit different from other companies. We're not going to open a bunch of local offices. We're not going to hire a bunch of local salespeople. We want to rely on remote and self-sales as much as possible. And I'm going to be probably doing a separate webinar just about remote selling, because it is doable, and not only for the IT sector. We do have the second largest partner network after Microsoft in Europe, over 16,000 partners, and I'm sure a lot of partners are watching this webinar as well, and they can confirm that, in fact, we've never met face-to-face with most of them. We do have twice a year we do have partner events where people can fly and see us, but other than that, it's all remote. Bitrix24 is fairly well known worldwide, so we do have recognition in very large user base. Almost 7 million organizations signed up with Bitrix24 since 2012. So doing things remotely by no means equals that you're going to stay small or you're going to stay bound to your current location. And certain departments inside Bitrix24 were designed to be fully remote from day one. That's when we decided to have online consultants. Bitrix24 is available in 16 different languages. We do have clients in Manila, we do have clients in Singapore, United States, UK, India, Brazil, South Africa, Mozambique. It was clear that our online consultants who speak German, English, Italian, Portuguese, Russian, Ukrainian, Polish, there is no way and no point in trying to bring them in a single room and provide support, call center style, because the time zones are different, the languages are different. So all of our online consultants are working from home, and that was a decision that was made many, many years ago. So right now, I'm recording this webinar from my home, as I've informed you, and almost all of my colleagues, there are almost 500 people working for Bitrix24 right now, all but 15 are fully remote, and like many IT companies, we were lucky to have infrastructure ready to have our services available without any interruptions. But a lot of business owners are now facing this challenge when going remote. They don't know which tools they need to be using. They feel that they're losing control, because it's one thing when you're in the office, walking, stopping by every desk, asking, chatting, then you understand what's going on. And the third most important question is, how do you stay remote yet your business and your internal organization is fully transparent to you? You understand what's happening in each and every department, how each business process is running. So these are the issues that we're going to be talking about. I think I'm not wrong with my conclusion that generally speaking, businesses, civic leaders, nonprofit sector, and governments alike were largely not prepared to go remote. That's the bad news. The good news is that most of us are ready to work remotely if we are employed in the industries where it is possible. And this is primarily because the technologies that are necessary for this are very and intimately familiar to each and every one of us, because we do use, well, most of us use social networks daily. I'm on Facebook daily. I read Twitter. On my phone, my iPhone, I have iMessage, I have Viber, I have Telegram, I have WhatsApp. So messengers are very familiar to people, with the exception of a few very poor or very remote locations. High-speed internet is available and quite reliable. Thanks God we didn't have any infrastructure breakdown so far. And also, you don't really need to tell people how file sharing works, because we've all used Dropbox or iCloud. We know what it's like to upload files in the cloud, how syncing works automatically in the background, how you can use cloud storage to share data. So with the people already, the businesses and nonprofit sector may not be ready, but with the right set of tools and methodologies, it is doable. So that's all we need to do. Is if we work in the industry where remote work is possible, what we need is to have a set of tools, methodologies, and ideas in order to work remotely efficiently. So this presentation is going to be about how you can quickly switch to remote work with Bitrix24 in 10 simple steps. And this may be relevant for your entire company or maybe certain departments. So both ways are fine. And by quickly, I mean anywhere between 1 day for a small organization to 3 to 4 days for a larger organization. Bitrix24, again, is 500 employees. We switched to remote working in 1 day. So almost everybody was remote the next day after we got the order, and then the second half or third of all employees the next day, and now we're fully remote. So if you go away from this webinar with one big idea, it should be this. In order to be effective, you need to create one single online central hub for your entire company. And I'm going to insist on that. Hopefully I will be persuasive enough to understand, to explain you why it's important, because otherwise you're going to make few big mistakes and you're going to have to come up to step one anyway. So everyone should be inside a single virtual central hub. This is the reason why our free plan now comes with unlimited users, because we understand that there are companies that don't have money right now, or maybe the process of going through budgeting committee is too long, or maybe you work for a nonprofit sector, there is no money at all. And there are two mistakes that are being commonly made right now, and I think you should be avoiding those two mistakes as much as possible. Video conferencing is absolutely great. There is a very good reason why people are turning to Zoom, to Skype, to Bitrix24, to Google Hangouts, to GoToMeeting, because it's a necessary tool. But it's not the same as remote working. I do a lot of video calls right now, usually between 2 and 3 hours. And when I do video calls, I'm not working, and neither are people who I'm talking to. So that's mistake number one. If you only have video conferencing, you're not going to be effective during remote work period that is mandatory in many, many countries right now. The second point is probably more controversial, but I think a lot of you will agree with me after you go through this page. So a lot of companies before the COVID-19 epidemic has hit us hard, they were using a multitude of separate tools, with each of one was great at a single function. So Slack is absolutely awesome at chatting. Dropbox is a file sharing leader. Google Calendar is fantastic. Salesforce is a #1 CRM in the entire world, and Zendesk is a very, very, very good help desk solution. And it all worked together fairly well before the crisis hit. But right now, what you find out is that if Slack goes down, and Slack did go down, as did Microsoft Teams and many other solutions, all of a sudden this piece of the puzzle falls out, and then Dropbox may go down. Another problem is that Salesforce is being used only by your salespeople. They're inside Salesforce, but they're not inside Slack or not inside Google Calendar, for example. So it's a total chaos where people are just running like chicken with their heads chopped off, because IT department now, either they need to buy seats for everybody inside Slack and Dropbox and Google Calendar, and that's expensive. They don't even know who has access to what, and it's even worse when individual employees or departments pick their own tools. If you don't have a single central hub, a unified workspace, it's absolutely terrible right now. This is the first problem you need to fix, because we have a lot of feedback from our partners, and this is the #1 problem they're solving right now. They've sold Bitrix24 to a company, but another department said that they like Trello for task management, and somebody liked another department, Asana. IT department is totally in love with Jira. Now, when everybody's remote, you have to pick a single task management solution. And I think Bitrix24 is great, but for the purpose of this argument, could be any other task and project management. Now, you either have to force all Trello users to migrate to, let's say, Asana or Monday, or all Monday.com users, you have to force them to migrate to Asana. And is it even possible? So you should make the decision for the entire company and stick to it. I'm going to insist that you should go with a platform-based solution. It's not only Bitrix24. Google has excellent Google Suite. Microsoft has excellent Office 365. Zoho is pretty good. Bitrix24 is fantastic. Stick with a solution that has the same set of tools for everybody. Because another problem is that employees cannot find each other, because one department is in this tool, another department in that tool. conversations are taking place all over the place. So it's in Facebook, it's in Viber, it's in iMessage, maybe some people are using Zoom. And because it's all so fractured, supervisors don't understand what's happening where. It's absolutely terrible and demoralizing for employees and supervisors alike, because you don't understand who's responsible for what, who should be doing for what, where should be having meetings and discussions. So if you remember, Bitrix24, our slogan from day one has been "Your company united," because that's the ideology behind our platform. It's a set of 35 tools. We understand that different departments have different tools. So yes, CRM is going to be used only by the sales department. And then project management might be used only by, let's say, designers. But it's the same set of tools that everybody has access to. Every single employee is inside. It's a single information field where important news is disseminated very, very quickly. It's very clear who should be doing what. Everybody's accountable because there are tasks assigned with clear responsible person and deadline. There's an easy way to reach every single employee with one click. And as much as we used to hate Facebook before this crisis hit, and we would say that it's a sense of fake community, now it's very important to use social tools. We are all at home, but we need to maintain the sense of community and that we're the same company, we're on the same team. So here are a few screenshots for those who are totally new to Bitrix24. There are multiple ways to invite Bitrix24 users inside. And again, unlimited users are available even on our free plan. So the best way is to use quick registration link. Your employees will simply click it, and after they are approved, they will be inside your Bitrix24 account. We do understand that not everybody has access to desktop computer or laptop. So if you're a truck driver, if you work in warehouse, all you have is a smartphone, that's fine. You can invite your employees via SMS, you can invite them via email, or if you're an IT admin, you can actually register users. So that's all possible for you. Employee profile, it's very important that you fill it in with all relevant contact information. Probably you need to add your WhatsApp numbers, just as a backup. Make sure you upload your current photo because you need to be recognizable. And by the way, folks, you see this online offline indicator. This is also crucial. Everyone is at home, we're not in contact. This is very important to have online offline indicator that reflects accurate status. And this is very, very important. This is one of the advantages that Bitrix24 offers over other solutions. You can and you absolutely have to add your company structure. And this is why, when you worked in the office, you knew that it was Susie from accounting department. You had no idea what her last name is, and you probably didn't know who else worked in the accounting department. So when you create company org structure, you see people's names, their photographs. It's understandable who works where and who you should be contacting. So this is available to you absolutely free of charge. You should be taking advantage of this. All right, so after you pick a single central hub that works for a company, the second problem you're going to be facing is effective communications. And this is a kind of good and bad at the same time, because largely, as soon as you eliminate all ineffective communications, your problem is solved. So here's what the world is facing right now. You send a message and it says, message sent, message read, message viewed, but you have really no idea whether the message was actually read or not, because maybe the browser is open, maybe the person's smartphone is on. It's really hard to keep engaged when you work from home. Again, I have 2 school children, one is 7, one is 15. Unfortunately, kids don't understand that the severity of this situation, and that dad is at home, but dad is working, and there are so many distractions. It takes much longer to get answers and feedback. And here's another problem that we're going to come back to over and over again. Regular folks who are not in the management, they don't understand that company runs on various business processes. Purchasing is a business process, leave request is a business process, payments, that's all, these are all business processes or workflows that are multi-step and they require multiple approvals. Regular employees don't understand this, so they don't know who to turn to, because if you had a question before, somebody would tell you, go see Susie in accounting, go see Jim in HR, go see Jack in IT department. But now people don't know who to turn to. The good news is that there are many tools that capitalize on the idea of enterprise social network, social intranet, where you have an activity stream that looks very similar to Facebook, that is familiar to everyone, and it's very easy to use. Everybody knows how to click likes, and this means that you've acknowledged that's sort of reaction. It's very easy to make decisions because you can create a poll, option A, option B, option 3, people vote. In 3 minutes you have a consensus what you should be doing. You should maintain the same civic manners. If you would say hi and bye in the office, you probably should greet everyone when you log in online. It's very important for people in critical times like this to keep their routine, and there are task templates that can maintain the same sense of routine because you have same tasks as you did before, scheduled daily or weekly. And in Bitrix24 you can send an important message, a mandatory memo, where people have to click button, I've read this. And remember I said that when you have no idea whether the person has read something or not, when they click I've read this, then 100% this person has actually seen the memo, and you will also know who has not read important information yet. So again, if you're new to Bitrix24, this is what Bitrix24 looks like. The right emojis, it's very similar to any other social network. All right, step number 3 is pretty important as well, because you need to have a common set of rules or online etiquette for everyone to follow, because we do all understand the importance of corporate culture. And now a corporate culture, it's a result of many years of employees interacting with each other, usually in the office environment. Now you're all remote, so you have to reinvent that office culture, because this is what's going to hit you very quickly, and some of you are already suffering from this. Constant chat, video calls, and chat is incredibly interactive, because when I see a message, there is a sense of urgency. I have to reply right now. And when you have 10 messages from 10 people, or worse yet, you get hit with emails, video calls, Facebook messages, WhatsApp messages, your head just explodes. So make sure you agree upon that you're not going to do this to each other. Don't be the employee who sends an email and then in 1 hour sends a Facebook message, did you read, and then starts using video calls. Please agree upon common rules. Should you reply to chat instantly, or it's okay to reply to all chat requests and messages at the end of the day or in 1 hour? Another problem is going to be inappropriate media used for decision making. That's something when you discuss $1 million decisions over Skype, for example. This is every important decision has to be multi-step. You have to think about it, you have to vote, pros and cons. If you're forced to make an important decision in a 30-minute video call, that's probably not a good idea. Problem number 5 is what a lot of you are facing right now. There's a love-hate relationship with Facebook. On one hand, Facebook is an absolute savior right now. It's a free tool that everyone or almost everyone has, so you can quickly communicate your entire team or your entire company on Facebook. On the other hand, your friends, your grandma, your mother, your kids are there as well. So you're using this for work, or WhatsApp is the same way, but you're also, your kids are asking you questions. It's incredibly disruptive. So I'm for total separation between work tools and play tools. Okay, so what are important principles for effective and efficient remote collaboration? Rule number one, and if you're a Bitrix24 professional, you know this, you have to use online punch clock. Everybody has to clock in and clock out. If you're using Bitrix24 professional, it doesn't cost anything extra. Everybody clocks in and clocks out. If you don't have online punch clock, at least have an agreement with everyone that you maintain the same work schedule. If you used to work 9 to 5, you keep working 9 to 5. And folks, you have to actually enforce this and try to persuade that everyone should be following this, because this is what's going to happen. There's going to be a time when somebody will think, well, I have half an hour, maybe I should go shopping, I'll just make this time up later on. Somebody will say, well, I used to go to office at 7, but now I need to drive, maybe I'll take my kids in the morning somewhere, and then I'll start at 9, I'll just finish later. And it's going to be chaos if people are not available when they should be available. It's very critical. Everyone agrees what your work hours are. Use Bitrix24, use online clock-in. There are other clock-in solutions, and that's very, very important. Point number two, work chats are for work. Yes, we're all human. We're still going to send terrible stories and give images. That's fine, but try to use work chat only for work, because you have to recognize the fact that instant messaging is incredibly disruptive no matter what, and we need to concentrate. Point number three, you absolutely have to have and use shared online calendars. That means you have to put your daily schedules in, because there's going to be a lot of coordination that takes place, and if you don't put in times when you're busy and when you're available, it's going to make it that much more difficult for your fellow coworkers. Okay, video calls, they have to be limited. You agree upon the limit upfront depending on your role. If you're a CEO, fine, you may have 8 hours of video calls a day, because I have to talk to everybody. I'm a chief marketing officer, my limit is 2 to 3, because there's a lot of things I need to do. I have a very large advertising budget. I have multiple advertising campaigns in different languages. I cannot, if all I do is video calls, there's no time left for working. But usually 1 to 2 hours tops. Another exception where unlimited video calls are okay is sales reps. Yes, they can be doing a lot of calling and talking. Last point, but it's very important. When you have a chat, when you have a video call, when you have a Zoom session, when you discuss things, have it in writing as a task or a project with a clear deadline and responsible person. This is going to be absolutely crucial. I will talk more about this later on. Shared calendars are a must. This is what they look like inside Bitrix24. They are available free of charge. It's a great tool to understand where people are available or not. So it's called Event Scheduler inside Bitrix24. It will pick the time that works for everyone. Video calls are available inside Bitrix24 as well. And I think we have upped the limit to 10 people on the call everywhere. It's still being beta tested to make sure there is no overload. But when you select a video call and video conferencing solution, my preference is to go with a platform that comes with other tools. So like Bitrix24 or G Suite, where video calls are inside other tools. Otherwise, you're gonna have to switch back and forth all the time. You're gonna be, doing chatting in Slack and then doing calls on Skype, and it's going to be that much more difficult. So group calls are awesome. It's an essential tool, but only when used appropriately. Okay, you need to set rules for regular online meetings, and chances are you're going to meet much more frequently now when everybody is remote, because you have to coordinate, you have to discuss things. I'm sure that pretty much every one of you knows how to use Skype or Google Hangout or GoToWebinar or Zoom. We've all done video calls. We've all, used I forgot the FaceTime, the Apple product. So you all know that it's kind of easy, but it's difficult at the same time, because if there are more than 3 people involved, it's hard to find the time that works for everyone. And when you agree upon a meeting, let's say 3 days in advance, people will forget almost guaranteed. Then there are constant audio and video problems. And the worst problem that you have to solve, and I'm going to have suggestions about that as well, is if you don't have written meeting agenda in advance and you don't finalize the results, you don't convert that into tasks, A, it can easily turn into a shouting match, and B, even if it's civil and fine and everybody agrees, nothing gets done because people will say, oh, I thought you were going to do this. Oh, no, I thought you were going to do this. Well, we all agreed to do this, but nobody did anything. So that's a problem that needs to be solved. So you need to, if you use online meetings in Bitrix24, make sure you all use calendars to put your schedule, because you will easily find a time slot that's available for everyone. It's really good that you can set recurrent events in online calendars. That includes Bitrix24 and many other calendars. You can set daily meetings, weekly meetings, monthly meetings, bi-weekly meetings, whichever frequency is most appropriate for you. Use agenda inside scheduled meetings. In Bitrix24, I remind you, the free video call the limit has been up to 10 people on the call at the same time. And very importantly, everyone is going to get a reminder 15 minutes prior to online meeting. So this is meetings and briefing section inside Bitrix24 professional plan. You see the agenda point 1, point 2, point 3. You start meeting, you finish meeting, and you can add comments and finalize the results. So it's very, very, very good. Okay, we are halfway through our webinar. Let me take a gulp of water, because this is a very important point as well. You need to start accumulate knowledge, and it has to be in written form, because this is what's happening right now. If knowledge lives inside your fellow employees and co-workers' heads, as soon as they become unavailable, their knowledge becomes unavailable. I know you all have read all those smart books, how important it is to have written standards, standard operating procedures, manuals, training checklists, but a lot of you never bother to have those in the good times. So now it's it's hard to find knowledge, and it's very, very difficult to explain people how certain things should be done. So if you use Bitrix24 knowledge base that we released last year, you know that this is a single place where all rules, procedures, instructions, manuals, video guides can be found. You have a company knowledge base for your entire company, and also there are knowledge bases for individual projects. It's much easier to train people this way, because either you have to do one-on-one mentoring all the time, or you can tell people, okay, read this, and then they only come back to you when they don't understand something. Point number 3 is sad, because folks, again, let's be realistic. There are going to be massive layoffs. Some of our friends and colleagues are going to lose their jobs. And as people lose their jobs, if you don't have a way to accumulate employee knowledge, you're going to lose access to this knowledge as well. So please think about it in advance. Don't be cynical about it. Understand that you may lose, your job might be gone, but it's important for you to train other people how to do something that you've done. So in advance, write down instructions, guides, and this will help all of us to go through the crisis that much easier, because lost knowledge is absolutely wasteful. We should not be wasting any knowledge. So this is what Bitrix24 knowledge base looks like inside. If you've used our websites or online stores, it's very familiar. It's a visual editor with block-based structure. It's searchable, and most importantly, it can be accessed remotely from anywhere. Another point as far as knowledge management goes is a lot of companies were 100% sure that they had document management system in place because they may even have paid for one. But now when everyone is fully remote, you understand, oh boy, how wrong you were. Because still even now, certain files and documents are only available on the hard drives of individual employee computers, and they are in the office. If you don't have access to the office, you don't have access to those files. Another common problem is that document access right settings are too restrictive or too loose, and that means that either only the person who works with the files has access to them, or you share this file or document with everyone inside your company, and this is not smart. Also, because now everyone is remote, you're probably exchanging files in emails, in messengers. It's total chaos right now because nobody knows whether that's the right document, whether that's the right version of the document. So it's absolutely horrible. So do use a professional online document management system. If you happen to be Bitrix24 client, and many of you are, you know that it's available to you free of charge, and all files are available both in the cloud and on your computer. Again, I don't want to spend too much time on this because if you have iCloud, if you have Google Drive, if you have Dropbox, Office 365, you all know how it works. Two-way syncing. Access rights are fairly simple and straightforward. You share your documents with your fellow coworkers, or with your entire department, or with people who work on the project. It's very easy to restore files because that's going to be pretty important, and you can quickly find the necessary file. This is what it looks like inside. The free plan comes with a 5 GB limit. But if you want to up this limit, it's very inexpensive inside Bitrix24. And again, if you're not Bitrix24 user and you're not going to be using our platform, you're looking for ideas, make sure you use a document system that syncs files between online and your hard drive, and B, has shared access rights that are very flexible. The second part is much more important than the first part, because you can use free Dropbox account that allows you to sync files, but without proper sharing rights, it's useless in the work environment. Okay, remember how I talked about how regular employees don't understand business processes and workflows inside the company? This is the problem that you're going to have to solve next, because again, before the crisis has hit us, it was very simple. You wanted annual vacation, you asked your boss would then relay this information to HR department. They would subtract your vacation days from the remainder. The information would travel to payroll, you would get paid, boom, it's done. How do you do this now? Everybody is working at home. Again, regular folks don't understand how important formalized business processes are. And even if you don't have formalized business processes, you still do things inside according to certain rules. Somebody has to approve something. You don't give access to your company bank account to everybody so people can buy whatever they want. There is an accounting department that's there. So what you're going to have to do now is you'll have to move your workflows online, because things that used to be verbal in the office environment are no longer okay. You cannot go, Skype your accountant and says, hey, Jack said you can pay $200,000 for this. There has to be a multi-step approval where things are written. And if you've used Bitrix24 business process designer, then you know it's a universal business process designer that works for everything that you want to. You can use it for paying invoices, issuing invoices. Well, business trip requests obviously are not in high demand right now, unfortunately, but sick leaves, unpaid leaves, all of this can be done with Bitrix24 Workflow Designer. Very, very importantly, each person at an appropriate time will receive a notification. So an accountant will receive a notification that such and such person has approved such and such invoice for paying. Please pay this invoice by such and such date. And if your business process gets stuck at any point inside Bitrix24, you will actually see the employee who's holding it back, who's not doing their job. Because again, people forget, that's important. So this is what a business process designer looks like inside Bitrix24. It's a conditional yes or no workflow approval. And I highly recommend you contact a local Bitrix24 partner if you need help, because they have designed hundreds, if not thousands of those, some of them very, very, very complex. All right, so you're gonna have to switch from giving orders verbally, and that, you know, in plain English, that's saying do this or do that, to a formalized task and project management system where each assignment has a responsible person and a deadline. Because right now it's mighty difficult to be an effective manager or a supervisor or a business owner if you don't have very good task and project management solution in place, because you don't see what everyone is doing. You don't understand employee workload. Some people are, you know, maybe their workload is light because the clients all panic, there are no more orders, but somebody is working overtime because things are that much more difficult. Everyone is panicking. To forget is human, so you can tell a person do this, they will say okay, but then, you know, they will be preoccupied because their grandma got sick, they have to do something with their kids, or they are running out of money, they forgot to do it, or the deadline is going to keep moving back and back and back because there are multiple disruptions in the pipeline. You know, the delivery is overwhelmed, you know, you cannot do things the regular way that you used to. So all of the things that you're seeing on your screen, these are the, you know, real world problems that companies and individuals and civic leaders and governments are trying to solve. And again, there are a lot of world-class task and project management solutions that are created exactly for this purpose. Excuse me. There are many, many, many remote teams who are very effective and have been effective for years and years and years, only because they've used task and project management for their work, because it's great for discipline and control. If you happen to use Bitrix24, you can create a task in one click. Very, very importantly, you can break down any task into subtasks or into checklists with different people who are responsible for each step. And that's good because some tasks are complex. And another advantage, you understand what's happening with this task. Is it 2 items out of 5 complete or 4 out of 5? Because the person will tell you, I'm working on it, but what does it mean I'm working on it? If you see that the task is 80% done, it's much better and accurate information than I'm working on it. Again, you don't need to remember about every single task that you have assigned or that you have been assigned, because Bitrix24 will remind you as a person who set the task and you as the person who's responsible for completing the task that you need to finish this task by the deadline, and the deadline is approaching, or you are past due. Very importantly, all tasks in Bitrix24 can be arranged chronologically according to the deadline. It's called Deadline View. It's available to Bitrix24 users. And later on, Folks, again, sorry for the audio and for my voice. I'm recording this from my home without professional microphone. The supervisors will see all tasks assigned to their subordinates. You will see this screenshot about this feature a little bit later on. Very importantly, when you use Bitrix24 or another platform-based solution, files and comments and discussions are attached to each task. This is excellent. This is way better than doing tasks inside Trello and discussing them on Skype or Zoom. So this is what I suggest you do. Again, very important to switch to written assignments with clear, responsible deadlines. Again, you're gonna have to use video calls, but if all you do is call and talk, you will not get much done, because again, people will forget, deadlines will get moved, people will misunderstand each other. Have everything in writing. It's extremely important. So in Bitrix24, as you know, if you're using our platform, it comes with free task planner, so people can plan their tasks according to the deadline if they want to. This is very important. And by the way, folks, I'm not going to go into product details, because in our YouTube channel, we have hour-long webinars about communication tools, about document management, about project management. So what you see here is Gantt chart with task dependencies. That's available to free users. Here's what it's good for. Suppose you're building a home. First, you need to build a foundation, then you need to build walls, then you need to build roof. That's the only order you can work in. You cannot start with the roof. So if your foundation is 1 week late, you move the deadline for everything else by 1 week. And Gantt chart in Bitrix24, they will move deadlines of all dependent tasks automatically when you move the first deadline. This is going to be a real time saver for you. Okay, so that's all I'm going to talk about Gantt chart right now, but we have 1 hour webinar about project management inside Bitrix24. Okay, so we've talked about tasks, so let's head 1 step up and look at the overall report and control system for remote employees that you should be implementing. The managers' nightmares are coming true right now. They don't know whether the person is really working or not, and this is a terrible time in terms of money. Again, a lot of businesses, they don't have any money, they're shut down. You cannot afford to have employees who are slacking and not doing anything or pretending that they're doing something. If you can't distinguish good employee from bad employee, that's terrible too, because you should be rewarding good behavior and punishing bad behavior. And again, unfortunately, it's quite likely that recession is going to hit, so you may have to have some hard decisions who you have to let go. And obviously, you do not want to get rid of good people. So tendency to switch to control freak, for business owners and managers right now, that's a standard reaction, but it's not going to be of much help. So there are tools that help make your remote work process transparent. That means, in plain English, you understand who's doing what. You can see in Bitrix24 tasks that have been assigned to employee A, B, and C. You understand how many tasks they have completed successfully, the progress for each task. You can provide timely feedback. You can track time spent on each individual task. Remember how I said that Bitrix24 Professional comes with online punch clock, where you can require people to work. We work 9-hour work days, 8-hour work day plus 1 hour for break. So you can set that up, but also you have time tracking for tasks. This way you understand that when working remotely, this task now takes on average 2 hours or 3 hours or 40 minutes or 2 days. So that's really, really, really important. So this is one of the many supervising views that is available to you inside Bitrix24. This is efficiency indicator. Here on the screen, I see all of my subordinates. I see how many tasks have been assigned for them, and the efficiency indicators, what percentage of tasks was completed on time before the deadline has ended. So, there are multiple KPIs inside Bitrix24. Also, you probably should be using work reports. In Bitrix24, those are available to Bitrix24 professional users. We as a company, we have weekly reports, but we switch to daily reports now because it's good to have daily updates, who has done what, and the tasks are added to the work report automatically. But if you haven't already, make sure you use written work reports, because that's a great way to discipline people. This screenshot is an absolute gold in my view. Again, this is time management available to Bitrix24 professional users. For every single employee that I have, I see what time they clocked in and what time they clocked out and the duration of their workday. So this is available to you inside Bitrix24. Make sure you use this feature. If you're using free plan, click subscription, activate demo, you will be able to play around, but this is going to save you so much time. It's great, for people discipline, and in my view, it's an incredible tool. Okay, so the first 8 steps were about how you set up internal processes and internal collaboration. But if you're from the commercial sector, if you're a business, you're not going to be able to operate for long without customers. So the last 2 steps are about how you can keep working remotely with your customers. So selling remotely, again, Bitrix24 is an expert on that because we do tens of millions in sales 100% remotely. Nobody walked in our office and bought our product. So, and CRM is obviously available to you inside Bitrix24, and many of you have probably know Bitrix24 only as a CRM, and it's a surprise for you as you're watching this webinar that there's actually document management, communication management, task management, HR management inside Bitrix24. But anyway, if you're not using CRM, you're not surviving this recession and COVID-19 crisis period, because as soon as you go fully remote, there is no access to a single up-to-date customer or prospect database. You don't know how many customers you have. Your sales rep might start pursuing the same customer. It's absolutely terrible because sales reps cannot, help their clients. The clients are demoralized because they used to be able to walk or call a person that they're familiar with, have all of their questions answered, but now the phone is ringing, but it's inside the office and you cannot be in the office. So what do? Lots and lots of problems that luckily can be overcome with Bitrix24 or any other cloud CRM. There's a good number of excellent cloud CRMs on the system. When you make a choice, make sure you pick the CRM that comes with other tools that I talked about as well. And it's not just a standalone CRM that doesn't have any time management or task management or any communications. Okay, so when you use Bitrix24, it's a cloud-based CRM that can be accessed from anywhere, and very importantly, we have access rights that are very flexible. 90% of the companies, only sales reps have access only to their own customers and prospects, and that's very important. In Bitrix24, you can set permission settings, who can view records inside CRM, who can upload, download, because again, I'm sorry to be cynical and maybe a little bit heartless, but as recession hits hard, certain employees will have a temptation to take the entire customer database with them as an Excel file, for example, and try to undercut your prices. So if you use Bitrix24, they simply will not be able to do this because you will not give them access to your entire client list. They will only have access to clients that they're working with. Another very important point, all incoming calls, emails, chat, social media messages are attached inside Bitrix24 to the appropriate CRM entity. Excuse me. That's usually a deal or a contact or a lead. That's true for Bitrix24 or any other omni-channel CRM. So when you're inside Bitrix24 CRM, you can answer phone calls, you can answer emails, you can answer Facebook messages, you can answer WhatsApp messages, you can answer Skype if you want to. So that's all available to you. All calls are recorded automatically as well, and your sales reps will be able to make phone calls from Bitrix24 CRM using their computers. They will not have to use their mobile phone numbers, or with their mobile phones, excuse me. Okay, let's look at a few screenshots about what Bitrix24 CRM looks like. And on to our last point. You will need to first learn yourself and then teach your sales reps to keep all communications inside your CRM. That's the principles of omni-channel contact centers and omni-channel CRM. Again, customers will contact you via whichever mode is preferable to them. So usually it's phone call or email or website forms or live chat or social media. You need to make sure that all of those channels are available to you inside a single CRM, and they will get accumulated there, because otherwise you're going to be stuck with lots and lots and lots of problems. Here's problem number one. Your phone sets are inside the office. You don't have access to your office, so you can't pick up the phone. The solution to that is Bitrix24 or any other cloud-based telephony where you can make phone calls from a laptop computer from home and receive them as well. Another problem is that incoming inquiries are coming via different channels. So somebody might send you email, somebody might send you iMessage, somebody may be contacting you via Facebook. If they are kept in all those different places, it's very, very inefficient. You will need to find a way to control what people's sales are saying to customers when they're all working from home. This is very, very important, and this is why call recording can help you a lot. And frankly, it's a hell right now for sales reps, because customers are calling and they're asking all those questions that sales reps cannot help with. You know, they may have a technical question or some other questions, and the sales reps are on the front lines and they're feeling pretty desperate, especially since many of them are not sure whether the company is going to stay in business. They're pretty sure that they're not going to hit the sales quota. So you need to understand what's going on right now and help your fellow employees as much as possible. And again, the good news is that there are online CRM systems out there that are really, really good for remote selling. They have proven themselves over the years. And if you happen to use Bitrix24 CRM, you know that it's very, very, very easy to do. You can connect Bitrix24 telephony. All phone calls will be recorded. We use intelligent call processing, which means that the call is automatically routed to an assigned sales representative, because the CRM contains customer phone number. So the CRM recognizes who's calling and who they should be connected to. We do support internal phone extensions, and all emails, calls, chats, and social media messages are stored inside Bitrix24 CRM. So this is what Bitrix24 omni-channel contact center looks like. This screenshot is outdated because we've added WhatsApp and other tools, and you can simply connect all of the channels that are appropriate for your situation. So let me recap the 10 steps that you should take in order to switch to remote mode of working quickly and efficiently. Okay, step number one, and it's the most important one. Pick a single central hub for everyone. Bitrix24 is very great in this respect because we or available for free, or if you use our commercial plans, we don't use per user pricing, so your price will not go up. And if you use Bitrix24 Professional, after you select which platform you want to go with, you need to agree upon common rules and make internal communications effective. Those are points number 2 and number 3. Start meeting online regularly, probably daily, but at least weekly. Find a way to accumulate and share knowledge efficiently inside the central hub that you have selected. Make sure you move all of your approval workflows online, because again, your accounting department will need to purchase, will need to pay, the payroll will need to be done, you will need approvals. Step number 7, instead of talking, use tasks. Formal task and project management system is absolutely crucial right now. That's very important. Number 8, you need to collect written work reports and have a control system in place where you understand who's doing what, whether they're doing a good job or bad job. And points number 9 and number 10, I had very, this webinar is probably 1 hour already. I didn't have much time to talk about. I will try to record another 1 hour webinar about how to sell remotely. And folks, it's not just IT products that you can sell remotely. You can sell remotely lots and lots of other goods, as our clients have. And the last point is you need to move all client communications online using omni-channel contact center. Here are resources that you will find helpful. Bitrix24.com/partner is where you find local partners in your country or in your city. YouTube.com/user/Bitrix24 is where you will be able to watch this video, our hour-long webinars about communications, about CRM, about project management, about telephony setup, about HR system available to you inside Bitrix24, and many, many other topics. We also have a bunch of short 3-minute videos that explain individual features. So make sure you look through the playlists to find the videos that you want. And by the way, we have videos available in Spanish, Portuguese, and many, many other languages, because there are YouTube channels for Bitrix24 in other languages. Here I'm just talking about our English language channel. So if you're a commercial user, you can talk to our online tech specialist by going to helpdesk.bitrix24.com/ticket.php. But if you're using free Bitrix24 account, you will not be able to get help from a human being, but we have training materials available absolutely free of charge. Folks, if you think this information is important, please share it. You are welcome to upload it to your YouTube channel. Please send it to your fellow co-workers, the link for this webinar, who are using Bitrix24, because it will give them ideas how to be more efficient. You can share this webinar via Facebook or Twitter. We're all fine with this. I want to thank you. I want to be optimistic. No matter how bad it gets, all epidemics pass, and this one pass as well. No matter how difficult the economic crisis may hit us, even the Great Depression has passed, we will survive this. But meanwhile, please stay safe and stay at home. Again, this was Dmitry Davidov, Bitrix24 Chief Marketing Officer. Thank you and bye-bye.